Okay, you are watching Co-op for Two, broadcasting live from Champaign, Illinois. Early hours of Thursday, May 11th. It's 12:30, just past midnight, 2023. We got a late start with this session because the previous session, I was thinking we could do it in under an hour, but ran a little bit long, a little bit frustrating. I'm a little bit nervous that I'm already on tilt. That tends to happen when the weather starts getting warmer. Anyway, we'll see how this goes. Today we're going to play a game that I've been curious to play for several months now, called Escape from the Asylum. I've got it right here. It actually comes in two parts. I don't know if that's because they planned to originally release it as two games. It's an escape room game. A narrative escape room game. There's a big chunk of story in here and puzzles. We're going to look at it together. We're going to read everything and we're going to play through some of it. We are not going to finish the game today, and the reason for that is look at the playing time. Let's see if it's focused in on it. 10 sessions of 60 minutes each. So this is a 10-hour game in this box in two parts. So 5 hours they estimate per part. And I'll remind you that when I play these games on YouTube, it normally takes me like 3 times as much. So you might expect that the total game would take us 30 hours to play through. So we're just going to play through as much of it as we feel like playing through. And then maybe continue tomorrow or someday in the future. Okay. Now, there are some interesting things about this, some unusual things about this box. You can see it's got a bunch of designers. I believe it was kickstarted in 2019. At that point, yeah, 2019. So in 2019, you could have kickstarted this. I think it was about $45 plus shipping, plus some Kickstarter exclusives, which were just like gold foiled cards or something. This is the retail version. I believe this cost me about $35. You could get it now for somewhere in that range. All right, so let's take a look at this box and see what we can see here. It says, take on the part of one of 5 characters locked in the asylum. So You'll see here, we'll read this together. I guess it's a little bit of out of focus because it's so high off the table. In fact, let's not read this because I think the introduction is going to repeat it. So let's just get out part 1, which is what we're going to play. We won't need the part 2, nothing else in the box. Very strange choice to make 2 separate entire boxes if there's no way to buy this separately. Seems like a waste of packaging. All right, let's see what it says here. Part 1. You open your eyes and find yourself in a cold, gloomy cell. Unfortunately, this is not a dream. Your own brother committed you to this hellhole of a psychiatric hospital. The betrayal stings, but there's no time for a breakdown. You need to get out, and you must do it fast. The plan seems simple enough. Retrieve your personnel file, then find your way to the ground floor and off the asylum grounds. Escaping the asylum in time, however, won't be easy. Take on the part of 1 to 5 characters. Explore the rooms. So this is another map structured of the puzzles, which I like. Solve the mysteries, find a way out. Play again for another patient to unravel more dark secrets. So it seems to be suggesting you could play it again. So we've got a couple of game designers and a bunch of illustrators. Possibly clues on the back of the box. Says help me, no hope, some crossed numbers. Let's read the rules together here. Martin Anderson, Alexander Peshkov, and Ekaterina Puzinikova. I think these might be Polish designers. All right, so here are the rules, and then here are the components. It's some bags, some stacks of cards, hint cards, a main deck of cards, big fat deck, and then a whole bunch of envelopes for the different rooms. And then looks like maybe some maps and stuff down below. Okay, let's read the rules together. The game components for part 1 and 2 are kept separately in 2 boxes. Do not mix components for different boxes. North Oaks Mental Health Center. 2 main decks, 130 cards in part 1, 160 cards in part 2. Don't shuffle it or look at the face of the cards. 2 supplementary decks, 6 in part 1 here. 29 envelopes, which are these. Looks like each room has a different envelope. Some are bigger than others. 2 floor plans. I guess that's what these are here. I just see 1, actually. 6 hint and solution booklets. I think that's here. These are actually little tiny booklets here. If you look at them, they unfold, looks like. Okay. 6 timesheets. Component list. This is for packing it back up, so we don't open that. All right, the timesheets are here. So this game wants you to keep track of how much time it takes you to solve it. We normally don't worry so much about time, but we'll probably use one of these up. Game rules, which is what we're reading now. And 2 component lists, 1 in each box for reassembling it. So it does say, let's read the blurbs on the, I guess we'll read this in order. Okay, age 12 and up, 60 minutes per story. Escape from the Asylum is a thrilling escape room experience in the form of a cooperative board game. The game is divided into 2 parts. Each part is a collection of 5 stories. In each story, you assume a role of a character trying to escape the North Oaks Asylum. To accomplish that, you'll have to solve puzzles and make life-changing decisions. Reveal more and more of the backstory and watch the stories intertwine as you play. So the back of the box said, replay it again with a different character to get a different ending. I'm starting to think now that what they meant is, it says play again for another patient to unravel more secrets. I'm getting the feeling now that that means that you could play, each box has 5 stories, so you could play the 5 stories. That you wouldn't play the same story over and over again, but that there are 5 stories. I think that's kind of what I'm getting the impression of. You have to solve puzzles, make life-changing decisions, reveal more and more of the backstory. Okay, setup. Put away your gadgets. The asylum is very old, doesn't have Wi-Fi. You are going to have to rely solely on your wits. No internet use. Some of the puzzles you will need to write things down, so prepare lots of pen and paper. And then it's got an interesting thing where it's making clear that you don't destroy anything or write on anything. So it does give you ways, tells you how to pack it back up and give it to a friend. So that's quite nice. Make sure the floor plan is visible to all players. Okay, so I'm guessing that's our evacuation plan. We'll just put that on the table. Take the main deck. On the back of each card, let me see if we can get a slightly wider view, but I'll zoom in here a bit. Okay, take the main deck. On the back of each card, there's a 4-digit number. For your convenience, the cards are arranged in numerical order. The lowest number on the top, highest number on the bottom. Put the deck face down on the table. All right, so I'm going to take this off and put it out here. Off to the side somewhere. Okay. Step 5 says, take the supplemental deck, cards with the red back. On the back of each, there's a 4-digit number, just like on the cards in the main deck. The cards are arranged in numerical order, lowest on top. Put the deck face down on the table. Do not look at the face of the cards. All right, I'm just going to put this over here. Keep the hint and solution booklets nearby. All right, so if we want hints, we'll just go into the box to get them. Take a timesheet and mark down the current time. Okay, so here's a timesheet. Starting time, ending time, difference, errors, hints, solutions. So basically the way this game helps you score it is you count your real clock time, how much time it's taken you to play the game, and then you get penalties for making mistakes, for getting hints, for getting things right or wrong. And this is just the same thing over here. So I think before we start, we'll take a little break. I'll make a scan of this so there's plenty of these extras, but I'll just make a copy of this so that I can write on my own copy. Okay, let's continue with our rules here. Playing the game. Take the card with the number of the story you're playing from the main deck. So take card 1 for the first story. So I guess 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 are the different stories. So we're going to start with story 1, obviously. Put the cards you've read into a discard pile. You may look through them at any time. The stories are to be played in order, starting with the first story. When playing stories 1 through 5, use the components from the box 1, part 1 box, stories 6 through 10, part 2 box. Okay. These rules are pretty short. Envelopes. Most of the rooms in the asylum match an envelope with the same number. When instructed to open an envelope, remove all components from the envelope and examine them. When leaving a room, put all of the contents except for the portable items back in the envelope. Portable items are marked with the hand symbol. Keep them on the table in front of you. That's quite clever. So you've got, each room is its own little envelope of pieces. Most of those are localized to a room, but some items in an envelope are to be used elsewhere, so they're marked as portable. Some of the rooms are locked. You need to solve a puzzle and find a 4-digit code to access them. When instructed to take an envelope and not open it, examine the front of the envelope. It may contain a clue to the puzzle. So this is something we've seen in a bunch of these card-based games where the answers to puzzles are going to be a 4-digit code on one of these cards, and you'll turn over that card and you'll find out whether you found the right code. Puzzles. Keep taking and reading cards until you reach a card that does not contain instructions to take the next card. That means you have to solve a puzzle. The answer to each puzzle is a 4-digit code that matches a card from the main deck. Once you have the code, take the corresponding card and read it. You may look through the contents of previously opened envelopes. Note that some components from the envelope may be intended for a different puzzle, while some may have no use at all. Hints and solutions. If you're stuck, you can always ask for some help. There are 3 hint and solution booklets in each part. Hint 1, hint 2, and a solution. To look up a hint or solution, select the booklet, find the number of the card that contains the puzzle. Hints in the booklet are arranged in ascending order. Always starts with hint 1, then go to hint 2 if you need it. Use the solution booklet only as a last resort. Don't hesitate to use hints if you're stuck. If the first hint doesn't help you find the solution, the second one might. Penalties. Each time you look at a hint or a solution, tick a corresponding box on the timesheet. Please note that you can't skip hints even if you decide to go for the solution right away. You still have to tick 2 hints on the timesheet. Each hint 1 will cost you 1 minute. Each hint 2 will cost you 2 minutes. Each solution that you read will cost you 3 minutes. Add them to your total playtime. If a code you found doesn't match any of the cards, you've made a mistake. Mark an error on the timesheet and try again. So if you think the code is 2, 3, 4, 5 and you pick up that card and it's not, doesn't tell you you found a solution, then you've made a mistake. Note that most cards have a symbol in the upper left corner corresponding to the character you're playing. If the symbol on the card you've taken does not match the symbol on the first card of the story you're playing, that means you have made a mistake. At the end of the game, each mistake will cost you 1 minute. Okay, last page of the rules. This is where it's starting to get a little interesting here. Choices. During the game, apart from solving puzzles, you will also be facing various choices. Some of them will be minor, but others may later prove to be critical, so take them all seriously. When instructed to replace a card N with card N from the supplementary deck, find card N in the supplementary deck, take it without looking at its face, find card in the main deck, put the card from the supplementary deck in its place, take out the normal main deck card and put it away. So basically we've got 6 replacement cards here that can change the card, have sort of a lasting effect, change a card in the main deck. We recommend putting all replaced cards in a separate plastic bag. Some choices might be fatal. If you fail your mission, retrace your steps back to the place where you made the wrong choice and try again. That's quite fun. The story comes to an end. Once you have reached the card stating the end or to be continued, you have finished the story. Mark the end time, subtract start time to find the difference. To obtain your final score, you add your penalties for your hints and solutions. If you can do it all in under 60 minutes, your performance was excellent. If it's over 60 minutes, well, you did it, and we hope you'll be faster in the following stories. We don't care about time. After completing a story, put all cards from the discard pile in an enclosed plastic bag and put the bag back in the box. You won't need these cards anymore. Put the remaining main deck and supplement deck in 2 separate plastic bags. Do not return the portable components back to their original envelopes. Put them in the box. Sounds like once you find a portable item, you keep it forever. A new story begins. To start the next story, take the corresponding card from the main deck. Take card 2 for the second story, card 3 for the third story. After finishing story 5, put all of the components back in box 1 and open up box 2 to continue, playing by setting up the game and taking card 6 from the main deck. Never transfer any components from part 1 to part 2 and vice versa. You may reset the game, say if you're willing to lend it to your friends. To do so, put all components back in their original envelopes according to the component list. Put all the black numbered cards into the main deck, the red numbered cards into the supplementary deck. Sort each deck in the ascending order. Conduct these steps separately for both boxes. Never mix components from different boxes. Okay, very cool. I love how they've made it so you can share this, pass it along. Very nice. Each chapter looks like its own standalone thing, although I guess the portable items continue from case to case, which is a little odd since they seem kind of independent. But they do want you to play the chapters in order. So we will absolutely play chapter 1 today. Will we play 2 chapters? It's possible. All right, so I'm going to leave the envelopes in this box here. And put the bags off to the side, and the hints I'll keep nearby. The map will be in front of us. We'll take a closer look at that before we start. Supplemental cards I'll put off to the side. We don't need these for a while. Main deck is here. Doesn't seem like we need the rules for anything, so maybe we'll just put these in the back of the box. The one thing I did want to do is make a scan of this so that I don't write on the original. All right, so here's what I think we'll do here. We'll read the introduction parts of case 1. This is stuff that you would read on your first playthrough. And then we'll take a break. If you feel like you might want to buy this game and play it yourself separately, that will be a time for you to leave after we read the introduction before we make any decisions. Then we'll take a little break. Anyone who wants to leave can leave. And I'll make a scan of this and we'll start the game. I can see we've got a small audience here for today. A reminder, I'm going to start reminding you every time that you might consider giving this video a like if you want to see more videos like this. It definitely encourages me to make more, and I appreciate it. Okay, I'm quite curious to see how this game works, especially in terms of making choices that aren't solving the puzzles but narrative choices. All right, so let's take card 1 and read our chapter 1 intro. And I guess for this camera, we're gonna go zoomed up. This might be a time for me to go back to the old system I used with a green screen for overlays so I could show this overlaid with the bigger picture, but let's just try it like this. Card 1, you're lying on a cold metal operating table. You squint at the bright operating light and try to shield your eyes with your hand, but discover that your arms and legs are restrained. You've been slipping in and out of consciousness for a while now. Blurry faces and surgical masks are hovering above you as you squirm and struggle against the bonds. You can feel their merciless stares on you. The surgeon takes a scary-looking drill and closes in on you. You make one final try to break free before the blackness begins creeping along the edges of your vision. Then everything goes dark. So note, this is our character for chapter 1. He's got glass of hat. So if we ever pick up a card that's not this guy, it means we've picked up a card from a future chapter and we've done something wrong. Okay, it says take card 6791. So let's go find 6791. It's right there. Let's flip this over. You wake up with a start, drenched in cold sweat. It was just a dream, wasn't it? Slowly, you take a look around and take the scenery in. Your memory starts coming back to you. The accident, the death of your father, the dark depression that followed. Your brother suggested you go see this expensive shrink in some fancy clinic, but the moment you stepped foot inside Dr. Dark's office, 2 male nurses injected you with some kind of sedative and dragged you away. Take card 7565. Okay. Your brother must be behind all this. He was always envious of the close relationship you had with your father. You suspected that your brother wanted to claim your share of the inheritance, but you didn't think he'd go that far. They say that blood is thicker than water. Looks like they are wrong. It's been a couple of days that you've been stuck here. They keep feeding you lies and pills. Last night, the nurse announced that your operation is scheduled for tomorrow morning. There's no way you're sticking around for that. It's time to get out. Take card 3311 and open envelope room 203. Okay, card 3311. Okay, there's card 3311. And then take room envelope 203. So that may be the room we're in here. It's got a grating on the door, a keypad, something here, which we could try to zoom in on it. Nothing readable here. Okay, I don't see anything written on the door. Keypad, great. On the other side of the envelope, look how clever that is. The flap is a door that's open. That's pretty cool, right? Okay, so we've opened the door. We can see inside there's a bed. Looks like an oxygen mask here. So it's unlocked. It doesn't say it's locked. And it says open envelope, room 203. So when it says open, we're allowed to take things out of it. Let's look at the card first. All right, so we haven't opened the door yet. Your room is bare except for a squeaky bed and a small bedside table. There are bars on the windows, so you'll have to find a way to open the door in order to escape this prison. You cannot open the door using sheer force. God knows you've tried. To open the door, you need to enter a 4-digit code. And you've already tried 3 times and figured out that the green light means that one of the entered numbers was correct and in the right position. The yellow light means that one of the entered numbers was correct but in the wrong position. And the dead light means that one of the entered numbers was wrong. So this is a little bit weird. It's telling us, this one said, open envelope room 203. This is telling us we can't get out of this room. We don't know how to open it. And when we flip this, we see this. So I guess if I'm reading this right, this is sort of letting the door is not actually open. This is sort of showing us a view of this room generically, but we have to assume that it's locked. We're inside this. We can't get out. This door isn't actually open for us. So let's take the items out of this envelope. They're right there. I think that's how I'm reading it, at least. All right, let's see. What have we got here? So there's the code system. It's a little game of mastermind here. It looks like this is the full puzzle. But also in this room is this registration form. Okay, let's see. Date of admission, 6/4/2019. Psychiatric assessment, major depressive disorder. Okay, so here's us. We're Peter Anderson. Single. Born in 1984, age 34, male. Blood type AB positive. Okay. That's it. That's just some information for us. And here's our puzzle. Okay, so I can see we're going to have to be doing some zooming in and out. Maybe I'll try to keep it at this size in general. Is that big enough for me to read? Yes. Okay, so we'll try. This will be large enough to deal with anything that's in an envelope. All right, so before we work on this first puzzle, which seems like it's probably going to be pretty straightforward, we're going to take our little break here. If you think you might want to buy this game and play it yourself and not want to watch this live stream and join me for it, this would be the time for you to leave. I wouldn't mind some company while working on this, but I'll work on it alone if need be. Jonathan is in here for now. I don't know if he'll stay, but we'll see. If you're one of these people that's been hiding in the background and never speaking up, this might be your chance to speak up and help participate. Or you guys can just talk in the chat about whatever you want. I'm okay with just being kept company. You don't even have to pay attention to the puzzles. For the rest of you, I'll see you in 5, not 8, in 5 minutes. Okay, we're back. I've scanned and printed out our timesheet for us to fill in. Let's check in with the chat. It looks like we're going to have a couple people keeping me company and helping me. I'm just going to put this off to the side. One of the things that I was going to mention, though, that I forgot to talk about was this game reminds me a little bit of the Escape Tales series. Here's Escape Tales: The Awakening. It's got this similar idea of sort of branching narratives. It also has a very long playtime, 180 to 360 minutes, so 6 hours. And it has a similar thing of cards and movement between rooms, although it has some interesting mechanics. I was a fan of this game. Greg and I played this, finished it. We had some of the puzzles in here that we had to stop and work on for like a couple days. A couple puzzles that I sort of had to get out the whiteboard and brainstorm about. So I recommend the Escape Tales series. There's 3 boxes in it. The other 2 boxes are behind me somewhere. Yeah, you see them right on top of the Pandemic Legacies. There's Escape Tales Low Memory and Escape Tales Wormwood Creatures or something. I haven't played those yet. I'd be very happy to play those on the channel at some point. But this game reminds me a little of that. I was almost trying to see if they were possibly even same authors. I don't think so. But they sort of have a similar feel. Okay. So we're in room 203. It's our room. We have to find our way out. Before we work on that puzzle, though, let's look at this map. So let's see. Lounge room, morgue, intensive care unit, Dr. Dark's office. He's the one who committed us. Dr. Dark's bedroom. He sleeps on site. The archive, the property room, chief physician's office. There's a stairwell, a ward, another ward, shower room. No way from here, whatever that means. Another ward, an x-ray room. Looks like maybe a fire extinguisher, elevator, elevator hall, security room, maintenance room, another ward, another shower room, ward, stairwell, changing room. Okay, and it seems we're in 203, right? 203. So we're over here in this ward. Maybe we'll put a little marker on it to show our location. So that's where we are. So if we can get out, maybe we can go right down these stairs and end this game quick. I'm just going to put this up Let's see, what's the best way? I guess we'll put it up here till we need it. You can't really see it. All right, let's work on our first puzzle. It tells us that we're going to need pens and paper, so I've got my pen and paper as we need it. Okay. There's our discard pile. We probably don't need any of these except the one that tells us how the mastermind card works. Okay. All right, so we've tried to open the door using sheer force. We know it's a 4-digit code. We've already tried 3 times. So here's our 3 previous attempts, right? It's mastermind rules. Green light means one of the numbers correct in the right place. Yellow means correct number, but in wrong position. And blank means entered numbers wrong. So one of these digits is right and in the right place. 3 of these digits are right, but in the wrong place. One of them is right and in the right place. The other 3 are right, but in the wrong order. So what do we know? We know already that it can't be the one that's in the right place because the one stayed here and the green went off. So we know it's not that, and there was no thing in the wrong place. So we know one of these numbers is right in the wrong place. Sorry, right in the right place, and the others aren't even used. So if we look down here, the 2 has stayed in its same place, and we've also got a green. So you might guess that the 2 is the one that's the right number in the wrong place. Sorry, that the 2 is the right number in the right place, and 3 of these numbers are right but in the wrong position. We know the 1 is not in this picture, so that would make us think that the 5, the 6, and the 7 are the other numbers. Well, that makes complete sense. Here's the 5, here's the 6, here's the 7. They've all changed positions except for the 6. That means this is not where the 5 doesn't go there, and the 5 doesn't go there. So 5 could be the 3rd digit. So the 6 could go here. The 7 could go here. 6, 7, 5. But why can't it be... Okay, it can't be 7, 5, but why can't it be 7, 6, 5? Seems like we've got 2 choices here, doesn't it? This is either... So either the code is 576, 5276, but can't it also be 627? Can't be 6275, but can it be 62? And it can't be 6257. So can't, of the 3 numbers, the 6 must be here in the last digit. And if the 6 is here, but why can't we have 2 different places for the 5 and the 7? Why can't we have 5276 or 7256? Oh, we can't have 7256 because the 7 can't be here. 7 can't be here and can't be here, so it has to be in the 3rd position. Okay, so there we go. That's it. So the 7 must be here. The 5 must be here. And then that leaves the 6 here. So 5276. Okay. I believe that's the only consistent answer. Now, note that if you make a mistake, you are penalized. So we don't want to make mistakes. Let's just write here our wall clock time. I'm going to put 105 was when we started. Okay. So, yeah, we've tried the 7 and the 6 in the 2 other positions, so it must be there. 3rd digit must be 7. the 5 has been tried in this position and this position. So it must be here. Sorry, the 7 has been tried in these two positions. So the 7 must be here, which means the 5 is here. So 5, 2, 7, 6. Anyone disagree with me? It sounds like the chat is in agreement. 5, 2, 7, 6. All right, so there's no online. We just get out card 5, 2, 7, 6, and we hope that we're right. So we're getting out 5, 2, 7, 6. Now, if there was no 5, 2, 7, 6, we would mark an error penalty here. Or if when we turn this over, it doesn't match our guy, we would mark that as a penalty. Okay, 5, 2, 7, 6. Success. The door swings open with a soft creak, and you quickly move into the hallway. There's no one in sight, but you keep quiet just in case. Okay, so we've walked out onto the hallway. Take card 4, 3, 5, 6, and we can put this one away. 4, 3, 5, 6. This goes away. How could this have happened to you? Your brother must have gone to great lengths to commit you in this hellhole. People bribed, papers forged. You better find your personnel file or they'll catch you and put you right back in the loony bin. There must be some kind of archive where they keep the medical records. Although now that you think about it, the last time you saw your personnel file was on Dr. Dark's desk, the day you arrived at the clinic. Okay, now, if you want to go to the archive, replace card 6289 with card 6289 from the supplementary deck, and then take card 1433. If you want to go to Dr. Dark's office, replace card 1794 with card 1794 from the supplementary. Don't look at the cards you're replacing. Okay, so this is a little interesting now because it says we want to find our personnel file. It could be in the archive, but the last time we saw it was on his desk, the day you arrived. So let's take a look at where the archive. So there's Dr. Dark's office. So we could try to make our way there, or to the archive. Where is the archive? There's the archive. All right, where would you guys like to go? To the archive or to his office? I suppose if I was going to make a logical guess, it would sort of depend on how long we've been here. The longer we've been here, the more likely it's in the archive and not on his desk. But if you had to guess in terms of how games work, it says it's been a couple of days that you've been stuck here. So I guess then that would make me think we should go to the archive since we've been here a couple of days. But if you had to guess, you'd guess that there's no right or wrong answer here. It's just simply different little puzzles. All right, so it sounds like Jonathan and I are both saying go to the archive, so that's where we're going to go. No one else has spoken up. Okay, so if you want to go to the archive, replace 6289 from the supplementary. So we're going to open the supplementary deck here. Without looking at anything, we're going to take 6289, which we don't go to, we just replace it. 6289. So sometime in the future, this could affect us. So we're getting rid of 6289, replacing that. This one gets This card that we've replaced goes into a bag never to be seen again. Okay, and then it says, take card 1433. Okay. Here we are. 1433. So we're trying to go now, creeping along to the archive. You creep along the corridor until you find the archive. You try the door, but it's locked. Duh. There's one of those expensive security systems installed on the door. They're taking serious precautions with the medical records. You wonder why that could be. Why would anyone want to steal them? Above the scanner you read, scan your hand and enter the code. Take envelope room 210, but don't open it. Okay, the scanner says scan your hand and enter the code. Take room 210. Okay, so 210 is for the archive. That matches the map. So we're right outside the archive, room 210, and here is room 210. It's got a scanner, and here's a blow up of the scanner. That looks like a hand there. Okay, 23, 24, 25 to 6, then 23, 25, 27, 29, 23, 26, 29, 32. Okay, so just going by ones, going by twos, going by threes. So if you had to guess here, it would be 23, 27, 31, 35. But is that what it wants us to do? Let's see what the back of it says. Okay, the back of it just shows us if we were to open it. Okay, scan your hand and enter the code. What do you... I'm just assuming that it wants us to go 23, 27, 31, 35. But that doesn't work. That's too big a number. Right? We need a 4-digit number. So what do you think it's trying to ask us here? We've got digits from 1 to 0. It wants 4 numbers from us. Interesting. So we can see what the pattern is. I know what it is. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, you think? Like it's asking us go by ones, go by twos, go by threes, go by fours. If I had to guess, I'd guess that it's wanting 1, 2, 3, 4 as its code. What do you think about that? Top. I added little insets to these top-down views. Ginny says that's what I thought too. Really, the password is 1, 2, 3, 4. That's Jonathan being sarcastic. Like, really? That's the answer? 1, 2, 3, 4. But I think that is the answer. Remember, these are the beginning ones. Shall we try it? It's a little hard to try things in this game because you don't want to be penalized. You don't want to get it wrong, but it seems to me that's the most logical 4-digit number. All right, let's try 1, 2, 3, 4. So we're officially trying it, which means if we don't find it, we get penalized. Okay, so it's not here. So the answer is not 1, 2, 3, 4. So we take our first penalty. That hurts. That hurts. So we got a little bit ahead of ourselves. There's no 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, what are we missing? What are we missing? I mean, clearly we see the pattern. The first row is going up by ones. The second row is going up by twos, threes, fours. Scan your hand, enter the code. And that says 0, 1, 2, 3. So you're thinking 0 increments here, then 1 increments here, then 2 increments here, and 3 increments here. That makes sense. 0, 1, 2, 3. That seems completely reasonable to me. Four columns. First column, you're adding 0, then 1, then 2, then 3. I like it. All right, I'm going to go for it. 0, 1, 2, 3. Okay, here's a card for 0, 1, 2, 3. We still don't know if it's the right answer yet, but let's flip it over and see. Code is incorrect. You've made a mistake. Try again. Okay, that's our second mistake. So it feels to me like we've got our first complaint about this game, in that seems like a very ambiguous puzzle. 0, 1, 2, 3 is a completely reasonable answer. So the fact that it considers it a mistake, but maybe we don't take that too harshly. Let's just say we tried it. It was a reasonable guess. Now let's figure out our next reasonable guess. Jonathan says, I guess this is going about as well as you would expect if you were actually just trying to guess a security code. Yes, I think that's right. That's how I was thinking about it too. Like, okay, we don't have to get it right on the first time. It'll slow us down a little, but let's just try to make a couple reasonable guesses. Eventually we'll get it. Is there any other information here that's useful to us? Maybe we're jumping the gun. What does that look like down there? Anything? What does it say? Enter code. That's not very useful. Is that supposed to be our hand? I can see that some of these lines are darker than others. Do you think that it's really telling us that we should pick 4 digits from this set rather than try to understand the pattern? Would there be a way you would guess 2 squares from this set so that it would give you like 25, 27, 23, 26? Would there be a way? Would there be any preference for those, for two sets of numbers. You might look for where's the worn area, but I don't see a worn area. And I can't tell if it's telling it. This seems to be suggesting that there are numbers here covered up. And it's not aided by the fact that this doesn't show where there are numbers. That might make a difference. If we saw this little one only had these 3 rows, then we would guess that maybe we have to find these. Let's see. And it says 3715 if you took the next line but dropped the 2. And then she says, Jonathan has a point too. Let me see here. John says we could add the 2 digits for each pair. For example, the first row would be 5, 6, 7, 8. Why would we do that? Let me see if I can understand what Annette's saying. 3715, if you took the next line but dropped the 2, why on earth would you do that? 3715, if you took the next line but dropped the 2. Okay, well, I don't even understand what you're saying to do there. But there's got to be a rationale for this. I wish I had a better understanding of I wish I had a better understanding of whether those hands are covering up numbers. The next line would be 23, 27, 31, 35. I didn't think about the 3. What if the next line is 20? So the next line we think is 23, 27, 31, 35. If we added those, scan your hand. Does the scan your hand mean take note of the numbers out of view? Scan your hand. Scan your hand and enter the code. I wonder, is it possible that it means look at where your fingers would point? So if you took your 4 fingers and pointed, but don't people have different heights? But then you would look for like lowest, next highest, but that still would give you not a 4-digit number. Like, if you did it that way, you might guess there's the 24 here, then the next lowest would be 27, then you'd go to the 23, then you'd go to this one. The one interesting thing about this, I think someone was suggesting this, and I think it might pay to think about it, would be if we add these 2 digits. Like if the last row, just for the fun of it, if the last row is 23, 20, 23, 26, no, sorry, not 23, 26. 23 plus 4, 27, 31, 35. If you did add these double digits, I guess for the most part you get a number, like 2 plus 3 is 5, 2 plus 6 is 8, and so on. Oh my God, is it thermal? That would make me, that's crazy. It has caught me so many times, the thermal heating stuff, but I don't think it is thermal, but thanks. That is a very good idea though, but it sure doesn't seem that way. Actually, you know what? It is the thermal. I can't get it to go, but I can feel that it's on top. So yeah, it's thermal. Oh my God. It's thermal, just as the chat feared. My nemesis. All right. So for whatever reason, my hands don't want to make it warm enough, but it's absolutely the thermal. Yep. Okay. Who figured out it was thermal? Jonathan. Jonathan says, Jesse, check. This is not the weird thermal reveal material, is it? It is. Okay. All right. 1, 6, 11, 16. 1, 6. All right. So the numbers, I guess, under the hand are 1, 6, 11, 16. I can't believe it's that. Now, every time, good work, Jonathan. Every time I see black, I got to check it. Like the fact that it's, at least now I know to look for something physical printed on top. All right. However, Jonathan says, my God, I'm glad I remembered this before we sat down for another hour like we did on that other game. Okay. However, that's still not a 4-digit code, though. So what's our thinking here? One, 6, 11, 16 is not a 4-digit code. So how do we get a 4-digit code out of that? And what on earth? Why on earth do we have? Like, what do we do with that now that we know that? Is that even telling us that the numbers underneath are us? Annette is heading to sleep. Is it telling us that the numbers hidden by our fingers are 1, 6, 11, and 16? Or is it telling us that... All right, the way Jonathan figured, part of what helped him figure that out is he paid attention to this. Scan your hand, enter the code. Scan your hand, enter the code. Jonathan says, I think it's just +5. Okay, so yes, if we read 1, 6, 11, 16, it's telling us that you're increasing by 5, increasing by 5, increasing by 5. So is our new answer now 1, 2, 3, 5 instead of 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 5. I think that's our best guess then. 1s by 2s by 3s by 5s. That makes sense to me. That makes sense to me. Let's try it. 1, 2, 3, 5. Okay, there's a 1, 2, 3, 5. Fingers crossed. Here we go. Open envelope room 210. So we got it. The lock clicks and the door opens. You enter the dusty archive. You see before you shelves upon shelves filled with medical records. You're lucky that everything's arranged in alphabetical order or you would have never found the right shelf. Unfortunately, the cabinet is locked behind a glass door. All right, so this was a wake-up call that things may be more complicated than we expected. We took 2 penalties there, but maybe those penalties have taught us a lesson. All right, that was kind of fun. Good work. Jonathan so far is MVP for chapter 1. All right, so it wants us to open this. There's quite a bit in here, actually. Oh, that's pretty cool. Yes, okay. Doesn't tell us what to do about this information. I guess this stays here. Let's just put it there. Okay, so let's look at what's in room 210. We've got a bunch of punch cards with some cutouts, which looks like something could something could shine through. There's the locked cabinet. Cabinet A. Remember, our name is Peter Anderson, so it's under A. And I can see some arrows pointing this way. Okay, and what have we got here? Here's a computer. Seems to be showing some logic expression. If you were to guess what this logic expression is, you'd have the, and this might be, this is an and. So and false is false, true and false is false, false and true is false, true and true is true. So if I had to guess, I would guess that this is an and expression with true and false. But then I don't know how you'd make sense of this. Maybe it's binary, 1 and 1 is 0. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. That's a long binary digit. All right, well, let's not worry about that for now. Oh, what's this on the back? Yes, okay, that's binary. That's the 0 position is 1, 2, 4, 8, 6. So this is how you would read off a binary code. All right, so this is going to be a binary code. I know how to calculate that. Let's just put that aside for now. Whoa, look at this. We've got a X-ray of possibly our stomach, our spine. It looks like there are things in there, and a knife, scalpel. And this is a portable card that we keep. Looks like it says maybe 2017. All right, so this we hang on to. That's pretty crazy. All right, let's put this aside. Let's see. It looks like we got a couple puzzles here. 2 puzzles. Let's see what it says. So we make our way in. Cabinet's locked behind a glass door. Okay, so we've got a glass door and our cabinet. I see. The lock is on a glass door. Okay. It says, take card 5515. To the side, there's a small desk with an old computer. You walk over to the desk. On the desk, you find a chest x-ray. Your memory's hazy, but you recall seeing one of those pinned to the wall outside the changing room. There are also several punched cards strewn all over the desk. Huh, weird. Maybe they could help you open the cabinet door. Okay, I'm going to make a little note about the x-ray. Seen outside changing room. That could be where we would use this one that we're carrying around with us. On card 5515. Okay, so let's put that with this, yeah? Maybe we'll want to go there and see if we can match it up. All right, that's in front of me. We're going to keep this. Okay, it's suggesting the punch cards could be used to open the cabinet door. All right, so we've got access to the computer, and we've got access to this, which looks like it's saying go up to the right, down to the right, up to the right. So let's see. Four cards. If we put them all in order, they're strewn all over the place, it says. So they might be out of order. I wonder if there's some arrangement where you can see through them. The card numbers on them are all identical. You might, but it says, is there any way to guess what order they should be in? Just trying to play with it to see if there's some sense in which an order makes sense. Are they identical? Let us see. Are they identical? Except for their holes. It does have a number here, but I think that's just the number of the card printing to tell you how to reassemble it. Otherwise, they look fairly identical. What about the backs of them? Backs look fairly identical, though this one looks a little darker. Any thoughts? So let's just think about it logically. If we ordered these in the right order, we still got a weird situation because, well, no. Okay, let's think about it. These little bars here don't seem to be giving you good numbers, good digits. They're like half of a digit, half of a set of digits that's cut off. Whereas the vertical ones are much more promising. Like this thing here, this top one, does seem to uniquely identify a digit. So we've got 3 vertical, 2 vertical, 3 vertical, 2 vertical. So how does that help us? Strange. Let's look at this photo again. Up, down, up. What do you think that means? So well, let's just think it through a little bit. Depending on the order that we stack these, we get some final peek through. However, that just shows us what's in the last card. So the last card that's on top does affect what you see, but there doesn't seem to be any overlaps here. Like I can't find, you would expect when you do something like this that some of the holes cut through multiple cards, but I don't, this doesn't seem to be the case. All right, so I've got a meta theory here. Here's my meta theory, and in general, good advice for these kinds of games. We have these cards. It's not obvious how to use them, but we do have a puzzle that we do know how to do. Is it possible that this uses cards that we're going to get by solving the other puzzle? Possibly. So that's what we should do, right? We should put this off for now. Do the puzzle that we do know how, that we do think we know how to do. All right, so let's get out our pen and paper here. So this is reminding us what zeros and ones are. And let's just write out this number in binary. It's 1 0 0 1 1 1 0 0 0 0 1 1 1 1 1. Okay, now here's our little reminder of how to calculate that in binary. So just a reminder, this is our 1, our 2s, our 4s, our 8s, our 16s. This is 16384, this digit here. Then we've got, this one is 4096. No, 2048. So you could use an online thing to do this too, but it doesn't want you to, tells you not to, and we don't have to. Okay, this digit here, so 1 2 3 4, 1 2 3 4, yeah. So this digit here is 1024, and then this digit here is 512. So we would add up those all together. So 1 plus 2 plus 4 plus 8 plus 16 plus 512 plus 1024 plus 2048 plus 16384. So I'm just breaking that up a little. 24, 28, 30, 31. And then here we have 512, 1024, 2048, 16384. 491. Add our 31, we get 19499. Have I got too many digits? Seems like that's too much, so probably I jumped the gun here in guessing that this was 1634. Let me see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 12, 13, 14, 15. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. What have I done wrong here? Why do I have a 5-digit number? This is telling us how to work with binary numbers. It's clearly binary. Thirteen, 14, 15 digits. Let's see. Are you supposed to OR the bits, or are you supposed to just have half as many bits? Okay, you've got a good point here. You've got a good point. All right, so what Jonathan is saying is that I already guessed that this was I guess that this was an AND symbol. Because if the smiley faces are ones and the frowns are zeros, this has to be an AND. False and false is false. True and false is false. False and true is false. True and true is true. So if this is an AND symbol and this is an AND symbol, then if you tried to AND all these together, you would get a 0. That doesn't make sense. This sure looks like a 16-bit, 15-bit binary number. But if you calculate this 15-bit binary number, you get a decimal number that's too large. And then why would this be here? Is it an even number of bits? Maybe you just AND each pair together. That's an interesting idea, except I think it's 15, isn't it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So they're not in pairs, although otherwise that would be a great idea. But maybe you're right. Maybe we're meant to create pairs to get us a smaller binary number. So the first two give us a 0. Do you think we do it in sequence? Like the first two is a 0 and then we go 0 and 0? And then that and that? It seems no, because then we'd never have, then it'd always be zeros. If we break everything into pairs, then essentially we're taking this and breaking everything into pairs. So that's a 0, that's a 0, that's a 1, that's a 0, that's a 0, that's a 1, that's a 1, and then we have a 1 left over. I don't like that 1 left over thing. Nicholas says, sorry I arrived just now. Is this all the information we have? It looks like it's saying to take the 15-bit number above and AND it with some other number. That's an interesting guess. Okay. So Nicola's guess is that, let me see, I guess it's Jonathan too. It looks like the USB stick will give you another set of 15 bits and you AND them. I don't think we solve it until we get the USB. Okay, I think you've got a great point. I think you've got a great idea. Okay. So it's true, we don't know that we can solve this yet. So here we may have an interesting dilemma that we have to think about a bit. So we walked into this room and we got two puzzles. One using these cards, it looks like, and one here. But we also got this. We also got that. Okay, let's reread this room again. We can't just go to a different random room. We can't just choose to go to a different room. We have to have, so there's no way we can leave this room and go anywhere else. But it says, shelves upon shelves. If you're lucky, everything's arranged in alphabetical order. You'd never find the right shelf. Unfortunately, the cabinet is locked behind a glass door. And then it says take card 5515. Okay, and then card 5515 said, to the side, there's a small desk with an old computer. You find a chest x-ray. Your memory's hazy, but you recall seeing one of those pinned to the wall outside the changing room. There are also several punched cards strewn all over the desk. Weird. Maybe they could help you open the cabinet door. So it may be that first we have to open the cabinet door and then we'll get a USB stick. That's possible. Unfortunately, that was the strategy that made us push to try to solve the computer first, because I wasn't sure how we could solve this one. All right, so let's go back to this one then. I would have thought that we'd try to line these up so some numbers shine through, but they don't seem to have any overlaps. There's no spaces from one that look through to the other. They're all independent locations. Maybe. Sounded like it was telling us to use this one with something in a different room. If you write through the holes of each card, does it form lead digits maybe? That's a very clever little idea. Okay, let's try it. So what Nicola is saying is, if we make a little outline here for the cards, and we draw it like that, and then take our next card, do the same. This feels right to me. Is it starting to form something? I like this idea of yours, Nicola. It feels like it's spelling out a word, doesn't it? Or digits. I think Nicola figured it out. Well done, Nicola. Okay, and then we can see from this, it's telling us the order to read the digits. 9 to the 7 to the 9 to the 5. 9, 7, 9, 5. Very clever. Good work, Nicola. All right, so looks like we've probably done with this and done with this. And now we can get out 9795 and try to open this lock. Well done. All right, it's been an hour. Time for us to take a little break. Thank God for Nicola. Otherwise, I think we would have been here for a while. I'll see you in 8 minutes. Okay, we're back. And I say we very generously, have figured out the code for the file cabinet as 9795. Let's grab that card and see what it says inside this cabinet. Nine, 7, 9, 5. Surely this is the right answer. If you're trying to open the cabinet door, take card 6289. Otherwise, take card 1177. That sounds like it's just figured out that there might be two ways someone could get this code, and it's got a little fallback if you got here the wrong way. So 6289. Whoa, look what 6289 was. So when were we told to replace card 6289? Was it because we decided to go to the archive? Yes, okay. So this card was replaced from the main deck because we tried to get into this archive room. So that's good. Let's see what it says. You enter the code and open the cabinet door. You find the right drawer and open it, but there's nothing inside except for a folded piece of paper. You open the note and stare at a sentence in eloquent handwriting. Took the file to my office for a more extensive research. Dr. Dark. You wonder what exactly extensive research means. To retrieve the file, you'll have to pay a visit to Dr. Dark. Take card 8058. Okay, so we were given a choice earlier on whether we wanted to try to find our file in the archive or in his office. We've opened up the archive, and now it's told us it's really in his office. Now because we replaced this one, I wonder if the way the game works is wherever you decide to go first, it tells you it's in the other place. You think that's right, or you think it's something else? Okay, 8058 it wants now. There's 8058. But we still haven't gotten in the computer. Let's see what this is about now. So we're supposed to go to Dr. Dark's office, and we've got a sample of his handwriting. Okay, let's look at 8058. You wander around until you stop in front of Dr. Dark's office. You hope that Dr. Dark doesn't have a habit of working overtime. There's no light coming from under the door, so you guess the coast is clear. You check the door. It's locked. Next to the door hangs a framed photo of doctors. Something seems off to you about this picture. You can't put your finger on it, but you bet it will help you open the door. Take envelope 20 for room 208 and don't open the envelope. All right, so now, though, we've got our first encounter for something new, which is this. We've been told we're leaving the archive room 210. That's a room where there's a puzzle that we haven't solved. I think the chat is right that we need a USB flash drive to AND against this binary code, and that we can't solve this yet. So I believe the idea is that we would now put this away and plan to come back to room 210. At any time, we're allowed to reopen a room we've already been in. So we put the things for room 210 back inside them. In fact, I'm going to put all of the rooms for the other rooms we've been in. And we're told we can go back into that room later, I believe. But this card from room 210 is marked as portable, which means we keep it with us. And it's going to be used for something else in another room. So that's a very interesting little mechanic here, almost like a little text adventure game. All right, so now we're jumping to, I guess this goes back in room 210 too. All right, let's keep note of rooms we want to go back into, yeah? So room 210 needs a binary USB code. All right, so we're just going to make a note of that and put that off to the side. These are rooms to return to. Okay, let's check out room 208. Okay, here's the framed photo. Jonathan says there's a chance we may not even go back to room 210 in this story. Well, that's absolutely true. Okay, let's see. Something in here, he says, makes him think it will let him get in. So let me look at the back of this. So it's got a key code we're going to need to use to get in here. Okay, let's see. Eric, Wendy, Stefan, Scott, Amber, Lucy, Alyssa, Rachel, John, Mark, Megan, Blake. And then 3 of them have numbers? Just 3 of them. Alyssa has a number. Amber has a number. Blake has a number. What's wrong with this guy's eyes? This guy's a cyclops. That's pretty creepy. That's very creepy. Okay, well, we only have 3 numbers. What would you guess here? Maybe that you'd organize them by alphabetical? And then read them off in that order. So Alyssa would come first, Amber would come second, and Blake would come third. That's just 1, 2, 3. Whoa, look, do you see there's other things? Actually, there's a whole bunch of stuff that's messed up. Look at that. Lucy has no legs. Megan has 3 arms. What else do you see? So we got a cyclops. John has 3 legs. What else have you guys picked up that I haven't seen yet? Let's see. The top guy has only 1 eye. Notice that. That's the Cyclops. Brian from Game Brigade is here. We got the woman with no legs. We've got a man with 3 legs. John has 3. We've got a woman with 3 arms. So this is a creepy asylum, but now how does that get us a 4-digit code? How does that get us a 4-digit code? So it looks like Lucy has no legs, but so does Amber. Amber has no legs. Is it that none of the people in the back are standing up? all of the people in the back are floating with no legs. How do we get a 4-digit code of this? This is very intriguing. Does Amber number 2 only have 2 eye holes? I think you might be right. Amber over here may not actually have eyes. She may just have 2 holes where her eyes are. Lucy kind of looks like she's in the same situation. Does each of them have something wrong with them, or the ones that look normal seem normal? Hmm. 1, 2, 3. It almost sounds like perhaps... Okay, so here's a theory. I was just going to say what Jonathan said. Jonathan says, it does seem like it's implying alphabetical order with the names. Yes, the first 3 numbered ones, 1, 2, 3, are alphabetical. So I wonder if we don't line them up alphabetical and then our digits are the... I wonder if our digits are the mistakes. Or would you guess that once we line them up alphabetically, we would look for number 1, 2, 3, and 4? Who is our number 4 here? If we were to ask, if we would line them up alphabetically, we could look for the normal people. That's another possibility. All right, let me just look here for a second. Okay, who's our number 4 after Blake? It's E, right? It's Eric. Eric would be our number 4. So it would be Alyssa, Amber, Blake, Eric, then I guess Lucy, L. No, John, then Lucy. Don't know if we need to arrange them all, but John, then Lucy, then Mark, then Megan, then Rachel, then Scott, then Stefan, and then Wendy, right? So there they are, all in alphabetical order. 1, 2, 3, Eric is 4, John is 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 for Scott, 11, 12. Nicholas says 1303 is the code. All right, how do you get that, Nicola? Nicola had a guess above. Let me see. Is there something that would put Eric, John, Megan, and Lucy in some order? Then the digits would be their weirdness. 1 eye, 3 legs, 3 arms, and 0. Putting them in alphabetical order. It does seem like it's implying alphabetical order with the name. Yes, okay. If we put them in alphabetical order, let me just look here though. We've got 3 arms, 1 eye, 3 legs, and then You're saying Lucy is the 0? So 1303. No one else is missing or having any extras? Okay. That seems pretty reasonable to me. So we've got our 3 abnormal people. We've got it listed in a specific order, and we're listing their abnormalities. 1 eye, 3 legs, 0 legs, and 3 arms. All right, that makes kind of sense to me. 1303. I think that's worth a try. It wouldn't be the first time in this game that it feels like a puzzle could be a little ambiguous. But you couldn't do it. Well, you absolutely could do it differently, right? You could say, and it'd be why couldn't you say that if you pick the 4 people with deformities, the answer is Eric, who's number 4, and then John, who's number 5, and then Lucy, who's number 6, and then Megan, who's number 8. Wouldn't this be also a reasonable guess? The 4 people that are deformed, 4, 5, 6, 8, listed in their order. I'm not saying I don't prefer yours. I do prefer yours, but I'm a little bit bothered by the ambiguity. And in fact, the one set of numbers we do have specified is that Amber is number 2. You might even say they should be listed in this order. $13.03 is valid. So seems to me like 4, 5, 6, 8. I don't love one of those card numbers is an error. Oh, I see. If we flip over one of them, it's going to tell us there's an error, is what you're saying. Let's try 4, 5, 6, 8, says Jonathan. Logan says yes. Okay. Let's try. It seems like the channel wants to go for 4, 5, 6, 8 first. So there is no 4, 5, 6, 8. So that's a mistake, although I did see that there was a 4, 5, 8, 6. So I'm going to cross off an error here. I'm going to write down what card it came from. 8. Oh, okay. So that was wrong. We could fall back on our 1303. I just want to see something. If we name them in order this way, what would we get? 4, he's number 4. The next up would be John, who's 5. The next up would be Megan, who's 8, followed by Lucy, who's 6. So if we read them in order this way and use their numbers, we get 4, 5, 8, 6, which I did see there's a card for, whether you call that cheating or not. Is that right? 4, 5, 8, 6. Okay. So I don't like that, though. I like the idea of using the number of their deformities. So let's try 1303. But if we're wrong on 1303, then I think we read the code going from left to right, bottom to top. What did the card say to take the envelope? It said, something seems off to you about this picture. You can't put your finger on it, but you bet it will help you open the door. Doesn't really help much. Okay, let's try the 1303, which is to take them in order, listing the number of their deformities. 1303. Let's see if there's a 1303. Okay, so there's no 1303. So that's another mistake. It might be nice to make a note of which mistakes we don't agree with. Like, we're seeing a pattern in this game in that the correct answer to a puzzle doesn't seem that much more convincing than a couple other reasonable alternatives. But I think now we use our same system. We've got each person has a number. And if instead of choosing these digits in sequential order, we choose them in order that they're listed here, then we get 4, 5, 8, 6. 4, 5, 4, 5, 8, 6. Ryan says these guys should work with you to make sure the game works. I mean, so the game works. It's just a little different. You're thinking of Paul Grogan from Gaming Rules. A British fellow. Okay, so let's try 4, 5, 8, 6. I think it's a reasonable alternative. So there is a card, 4, 5, 8, 6. Whether it's going to be a correct answer or not, I'm not sure. Let's see. Yes. Okay. Yeah, I really don't think you could make the case that 4, 5, 8, 6 is a better answer than 4, 5, 6, 8. But nothing went wrong, just one little click. You enter Dr. Dark's office. Ironically, it's very dark inside. You reach for a table lamp and turn it on. The room immediately fills with soft light. You take a look around. In the middle of the room, there's an imposing mahogany desk covered with papers and a small file cabinet. Now, where could this so-called doctor have put your medical records? Take card 6926 and open this envelope. All right, so there's the back of the room. We're looking inside. Open it up. John says, sorry, can you explain how you got 4, 5, 8, 6? Sure. So we started with noticing that Alyssa, Amber, and Blake have 1, 2, 3, and they would be the first, second, and third in alphabetical order. So I wrote everyone in alphabetical order and gave them their numbers. So Alyssa, Amber, and Blake get 1, 2, 3. Everyone else gets their digit. And then the way we originally got 4, 5, 6, 8 is we just said, here are the abnormal people. Eric's abnormal, John is abnormal, Megan's abnormal, and Lucy's abnormal. So we originally said, okay, 4, 5, 6, 8. But then I said, well, we know these are the 4 digits, but we don't know what order it wants them in. What if it doesn't want them in alphabetical order, but it wants them reading from left to right like this, as if we were listing them in that order? If you do that, you get 4, 5, 8, 6 instead of 6, 8. That's all I did. It helped that I noticed that card in the pile. Otherwise, I'm not so sure that would have occurred to me. So that's a little bit of cheating. All right, so we're into the Dr. Dark's office. Where is that on our map? Let's take a look. Dr. Dark's office. We made our way in, and what do we see in here? We haven't done this yet. We see some file cabinets, and we see 2 more x-rays that are portable x-rays. Wow, they've all got stuff in their chest cavities. Look, this one's got a scissors in there, another scissors. These are portable, so we get to keep these with us. I wonder if these would help us identify certain people. That's spooky. All right, so these we keep. This we get to work on, but let's also not forget to follow this. 6926. 69 or 64? Six, 9, 2, 6. Ryan has been releasing a bunch of videos on Quackalope crossover. What do they call them? Not crossover. What do they call it when the 2 YouTube people get together and do a video together? There's a name for it. Not a crossover. Collaborations. That's what all the hip kids, all the YouTube kids call them. Collaborations. And Brian did a video. They did a nice video of channels with low subscribers that deserve a second look. We did not make that list, but I love the idea of it. I think, and Quackalope's pretty good about that. So it's a good way for, it's a nice thing for the channels with more subscribers to call out the channels that they like. All right, let us look at what we've got here. On the table, you find a chest x-ray. You rifle through the papers on the desk, but come up with nothing. You move on to the file cabinet and find that it has 3 drawers. One labeled A through J, one labeled K through O, and one labeled P through Z. All appear to be locked. You hope that Dark uses some kind of code to remember the lock combination, or you're screwed. The other thing that's weird is it says you find a chest x-ray, but we actually found 2. Is it, you know what I think it is? I think this is a mistake that they've packed 2 in here. Let me just look at this. They're uniquely numbered, these parts, so that you can put them away, but these 2 are, I think these have the same number. Let's look at this. Maybe on white we could see it better. Now those look like they're exactly the same. Yeah, I think this is just a mistake that these were stuck together when they filled them in. So I think we only are meant to have one, and the other one is an extra. I'm fairly confident. Brian says, now I feel awful. You do not have to feel awful. I'm barely into board games anymore. I barely play board games anymore. It's all these crazy mystery games. There's no reason to feel awful. Okay. So it looks like these x-rays, especially because they're portable, are probably not things we have to worry about yet. But what about this? Okay, so look, this is A through J, and look, there's file numbers up here that look like they're digits. So, and we have A minus J. How much you want to bet it's subtraction? What do you think? Although the number on the left is always smaller than the one on the right. It looks like we might be able to open each of these cabinets separately, but our name is A, right? Our last name is A, so this is the one we want to open. These are probably for the different games. So what do you think? Is it just going to be the subtraction of these 2? 6481 minus 1625. If we were to do them that way, 655,184 would give us 4856. 4856, very close to the combination of this room. 6, 5, 8, 4, 4, 8, 5, 6. What do you think? Is that going to be it? Nicholas says, could be the average too. It's just the same problem we had before, where it seems pretty ambiguous. Although I like the idea that this is a minus sign. It does say, you hope that dark uses some kind of code to remember the lock combinations. So let's just think about average for a second. Are these all even numbers if you add them together? If your theory is that it's the average, you've got a problem. Because while this is an even number, if you add them together, this one isn't. This has got an ending in an odd digit, ending in an odd digit, ending in an even digit. If you added these numbers and got an average, you'd have a 0.5. So averaging doesn't work for this middle drawer. So I think averaging has to be out because it doesn't work for this middle drawer. Is there any reason to not think that that's a valid guess? They are all 4-digit numbers. You could do the other thing, right? You could, you can't really, you could add the numbers, but then you probably get a number that's too big. Yeah, if you added the digits, then this file folder fails. So I think we should try 4856 and see if it's in there. I'm going to try it. Okay, no 4856. So much for that. That's another demerit. I feel like I'm going to mark the demerits I don't agree with. Or maybe I'll circle them. Like, I don't agree that we should have those demerits. Those are reasonable guesses. I wonder, are we sure the rule says that if you can't find the answer, you get a demerit? Let me just look at that for a second. Maybe it's only if you look it up. Penalties. Each time you look at a hint or a solution, tick a box. If your code doesn't match any of the cards, you've made a mistake, mark an error. Yeah, I don't really love this. I don't really love that they don't have cards in here for these reasonable guesses. All right, but let's think twice. Let's think again. What's another possibility? It can't be average because that doesn't work for this one. It can't be adding them because that doesn't work for this one. But we do have 4 digits on each number, so maybe it's a digit operation. Is there a way we can do this subtraction? This number minus this number in some way? Doesn't work per digit. It doesn't work thing. We could do it and just get a negative number and use that, but I don't love that. Let me see. Chat's got something to tell me. 16, 25, 64, 81 are all square numbers. 16, 25, 64, 81, you're right. None of the other. The last set. That is very compelling. It doesn't quite work as a system for the other file cabinets, though. So in other words, your theory would be 4, 5, 8, 9. 4, 5, 8, 9. Boy, that's awfully close to the room code again. So if you were looking at the square roots of these, 4, 5, 8, 9. That's an interesting observation, a very interesting observation. But what would your theory be for these cabinets? That they're just decoys? That he doesn't have a system? We have squares here, 36 and 25 are squares, but then when we get here, it doesn't work at all. We've got a prime number, 31. So it's very hard for me to accept a system that only works for this. Nicholas says, I think that's a sequence, 4, 5, 8, 9. And so 3, 6, 4, 9 would be the missing number. 36, 49. In other words, you're thinking what goes here to complete this pattern. 16, 25, 36, 49. That is very convincing. So then 3, 6, 8, 9 would here. And then you're saying we could find more patterns to go here? What would be the pattern you'd hypothesize here? Because it's hard for me to see a pattern down here. I like your thinking. Nicholas says, do we have to open the other drawers too? We almost certainly do not need to open the other drawers for this chapter. My guess is that when you play other characters, you will have to open those drawers. But furthermore, I guess I would argue that if you're going to say within the set of possible answers here, which is the system he uses, says, well, I hope he uses some sort of system, you would really expect him to use the same system, same generic system for all these drawers. I think that would give you some confidence that you're using the right approach. But we might be able to find additional numbers here. I do like your idea, though, that 36, 49 would make complete sense. 4 squared, 5 squared, 6 squared, 7 squared, 8 squared, 9 squared. Each one could have a different pattern, though. So what's the pattern that this would be, though? I mean, it's not strictly necessary. John says, is the second drawer the Fibonacci? 2 plus 3 is 5. 3 plus 5 is 8. 5 plus 8 would be 13. 13 plus 8 would be 21. 21 plus 12. 21 plus 13 is 34. 34 plus 21 is 55. Well done, Jonathan. This is a Fibonacci sequence. Okay, so let's just take a moment to appreciate the process here. Nicola came up with a very clever idea that these top numbers had a pattern with some missing elements to the pattern. I objected to trying that until we could find an answer to the pattern, until we could convince ourselves that he's using a pattern for each of these three drawers, even if it's not the same pattern. And then Jonathan has figured out the pattern for this sequence, which is Fibonacci. You're adding 2 numbers to get the next number. You continue on. So we may have to come back to this in a future chapter. It's useful to know that this is Fibonacci. And then because of that, that gives us complete confidence that Nicola was right about this being 6 squared and then 7 squared, so that the 4 digits for this box are 3649. We'll come back, we'll work on this if we ever need it. 3649, heavy confidence, high confidence in that. Might be a time to look back at this. Did anything in here give us a clue that that was the path we should have taken? Not really. 3649. I bet my life on this one. There's our 3649. Well done, group. If you're trying to open the top drawer of the file cabinet, take card 1794. Otherwise, take this. What do you think this is going to be? This is, again, a fallback if this card was pulled for some other reason. Okay, 1794. Let's open that top cabinet. What do we got? The drawer slides open. You look through the contents of the drawer until you find the file with your last name. You grab it and head for the door. There's no time to go through the file. Take card 1624. Is that it? Are we done? Remember, the game tells us our mission is get our file and get out. All right, here we go. Now that you have your medical records, it's time to make a run for it. You look down at yourself and find that you are still wearing your hospital gown. It's cold outside. Besides, nobody will believe you are a sane person with you looking like this. You're beginning to feel kind of dizzy, so you need to find some normal clothes as quickly as possible. Take card 5180. Okay. 5180. You see the door with a plaque, changing room. Bingo. You might find some clothes inside, but the door is locked. God, these doors are always locked. Suddenly you sway on your feet and hold out your hand to steady yourself. You notice a chest x-ray pinned to the wall next to the changing room door. Strange place for an x-ray. You wonder if this could be a code in disguise. Take envelope for room 204, but do not open the envelope. Okay, so we're leaving this room, so we will put this back in room 208 with the creepy doctors. And we're going to get room 204, which has on it the x-ray with a little circle up here for some reason. Remember, in our possession, we have 2 x-rays, one with a knife and one with scissors in it. Does this one have anything left in it? Doesn't look like it. Not that I can see, but it's got these weird items in there still. Nothing up in the corner. Well, this one has something in that corner, but it looks different. All right. Don't open it. And it says the x-ray could be a code in disguise. All right, maybe we're not supposed to turn it over if it's not unlocked. All right, so somehow this has got a 4-digit code in it. Overlay all the x-rays to form digits. You might have an idea here. Let's see. So if we overlay all the x-rays, you actually can see what looks like. Makes sense to overlay them because they're semi-transparent. but it looks like they might be backwards. So is this a digit up here? It's kind of hard to read these, but I believe... What have we got? It looks like maybe when you overlay that, you get a 9, but it's backwards. Let's see. Try to line these up better, and I'll get the cubes on this. Okay. So, boy, it's a little hard to see. That doesn't make anything. This kind of looks like a backwards too. Is it possible that some of these are... Let's see, let's try it this way. There we go. That's better. So we're looking for a 4-digit number. What do we see? 2. Maybe 1, 1. What else? And is that a 3 down there? Is that what that is? Boy, that's a rough... Maybe that's a 5. What does it look like? 2, 1, 1, 5? What do you think? You see a 7? Yes, you're right. That's a 7. I guess it helps we can peek under here and see where the lines are. So yeah. So that's the top of a 5, and that's the top of a 7. That's the top of a 7. Okay, so even though the tops are hard to see, it looks like 2, 7, 1, 5. That's what I see. Let me just make sure. Maybe that's a 3. That might be a 3. It's a little hard to tell. Let me just try to line these up a little bit better. Nicholas says it's definitely 2713. So I thought that might be a 5, but now that I look at it, it's going to the left instead of to the right. So the part that makes it look like a 5 is actually just the blue stuff. So 2, and there's the 7. You could probably with tracing paper do a bit better job, but I believe it's 2713. 2713 says Nicola very confidently. Okay, I think you're probably right. So that may be those done. Let's try 2713. 2713. All right, let's see. Yep, open envelope, room 204. The lock clicks and the door opens. You come inside and take a look around. You find a hamper full of dirty clothes. You fish out a hoodie and a pair of trousers. They're filthy, but they'll have to do. Suddenly, there's a loud sound coming from the hallway. Damn it. They're on your heels. If there's a way to get out of here, except through the door, you need to find it now. Well, let's just look at this here. Let's look at our map. We started in the doctor's office, then we went to the changing room. Where was the changing room? In 204. Okay. And then it said, we heard a sound in the hallway. If there's a way out, you need to get out of here. If there's a way to get out except through the door, you need to find it. I mean, maybe there's a laundry chute. Oh, we haven't opened the room. We haven't opened the room. That was almost a terrible mistake. All right, so this is what's in here. And we need to get out through here. All right, what do you see there? It looks like a laundry chute, probably. That's locked by a 4-digit combination code, is what I see. And that code is hidden somewhere in here. It almost looks like there's some mirror writing here, or that, what's the thing called? There's something that's called when you put a glass like prism that takes a circular thing and changes it into a message. Look at the card sideways, says Nicola. We can read it this way. Can read it this way. Can read it this way. Tilt it. I see. So you're saying the same thing. Do a visual thing where if you shift it enough. Whoa, look at that. How does Nicola know how to do this? He says, it looks like elongated letters. So I was thinking of some physical device to do it, but Nicola's saying if you just tilt it, it says 9468 open. Probably says some other letters here too. Some other words here. But it sure looks like 9468 open. What do you think this word is here? Game Brigade says, oh, I think it just says open, 9648 open. Brian says, Nicola, are you cheating? Like, how is Nicola figuring this out from here? I do agree that is some pretty serious figuring out by Nicola from across the internet waves. Nicola says, I've done lots of games like this. All right, that's pretty clever. If you do it from this end, let's just double check. So if you did it from this end, you might think it said 8946, but then it wouldn't say open. So this is surely the right way to do it. 9468. Everyone's agreeing? 9468? Boy, that's tricky. All right, let's look at this. Let's try to remember this for the next case. Next time we encounter something like this. Elongated letters, tilt it. It is a pretty amazing effect. Shows you your brain's not good at decoding, doing that kind of transform. 9468. Okay. Let's see if we can escape here with 9468. Well, there's 9468. Let's see, open it up and jump down. It was a real stroke of luck that you noticed the laundry chute and managed to open the hatch. You take a peek inside. You can't see the bottom, but the opening is wide enough for you to climb through, and frankly, you're out of options. You slide down the laundry chute and land in a pile of dirty laundry. You take a look around. This must be where they do all their laundry. It's empty and quiet. None of the machines are running. You can finally take a moment to think. You take out your personal file. With trembling fingers, you open it and gasp. The last name on the papers is yours indeed, but the first name is Michael, your brother's name. To be continued. All right, the rules say when you see a to be continued, that means you're done. You're done with this chapter. You'll play another chapter where the story continues. But we finished chapter 1, thanks to Nicola in large part. It says the discard, the cards we already went through get put in a bag, never to be used again. The rooms might be used again, but these cards from the deck never get used again. So that's our deck there. And now we're meant to record our end time for the chapter, which is 3:10 a.m. So about 125 minutes. Minus 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, which gives us, we didn't take any other penalties. So we've got 120 minutes. The game says only if you can finish in 60 minutes, you've done excellent. Anything else? Anything else? Well, hopefully you'll do better, but at least you got out, is what it says. All right, and then we can put these away. Now, we did use our X-ray cards, but as I understand it, we're supposed to keep these. Jonathan says, you add for errors, not subtract. Oh, yes, you're right. So this should be 130 minutes. Yes, good point. You wouldn't want to subtract time. All right, 130 minutes, but if we use the formula we normally use, that the YouTube takes multiply by 3, then you would divide, you might say we would divide by 3, and then we would get what? 42 minutes, 43 minutes? So if you convert that to divide by 3, you get 43 minutes, which means we did excellent. That's how I'm going to do it. Okay, Nicholas says, I got to go try to catch the next stream too. All right, well, that helps answer the question of whether we should stop here. Because without Nicola, we might be in for a harder challenge, but there's nothing wrong with that per se. Either way, though, we're going to take a break now for 8 minutes. We're going to come back in 8 minutes, and what are we going to do? We're going to talk very briefly about the experience, and we're going to decide whether we want to spend another 3 hours and try to play Chapter 2, or whether we should stop here. So give that some thought. I'm open to either way. I'll see you in 8 minutes and we'll figure it out. Okay, you're watching Call for Two. We've just finished chapter 1 of Escape from the Asylum, a 10-chapter box. It took us almost 3 hours to play chapter 1 and read through the rules and everything. I think that's about right. The game box says 1 hour per chapter. In the ideal circumstance, we normally multiply by 3, so that's about right. Okay, so we're going to talk a little bit about the experience briefly, and then we're going to have a vote here in the channel about whether you want to stop here, and we'll play chapter 2 another day, or whether you'd like to continue on tonight and play another 3-hour chapter. And Nicola's left, so it may take us longer than 3 hours, for better or worse. Okay, let's still talk a little bit about our feelings. In the chat, there's already some discussion. Brian said he almost bought it, but maybe not something he'd buy after watching how it works. John says, I'm enjoying the design of the components. I agree with Jesse that some of the puzzle solutions seem a bit too ambiguous. Other puzzle games have have taken into account multiple valid solutions. Both Jonathan and Brian are curious how the characters interact over the course of the story. It's like we have a cliffhanger here, and now it sounds like we're going to divert to different characters and maybe they'll connect. Okay, so let me give a couple thoughts. I mean, I think Jonathan, for me, brings up the biggest gripe I have with this game, which is that there's a bunch of puzzles that really have multiple reasonable solutions. The biggest one that jumps to mind is that photo of the people, and then there was also a passcode, etc. And I think it's not the end of the world when you guess a reasonable solution and get it wrong. You just go back and try to find another reasonable solution, but it tells you to mark a little error box. Not a big deal. You you could absolutely just say, I'm not going to count that against myself. It's a reasonable guess. And I think probably it only costs you 1 minute penalty. So it really makes very little difference. I guess I would advise people that if they make a reasonable guess and it's not in the deck, you don't penalize. So I think I'd take 3 of those and not penalize it. If you wanted to solve that with the game, you could obviously have cards in there that say, this is the wrong answer, but don't penalize yourself. Maybe even with a little hint on the back of the card. I think some games do that. But I could see how they don't want to triple the number of cards in this deck. You could get around that too by just having a list in the book where when you make a mistake, the first thing you do is you go look in the book and check out if it tells you get a penalty, if it tells you not to get a penalty. So they could put common answers to ignore. Lots of ways to ignore it, but maybe the easiest is just don't penalize yourself if you can justify why you made that choice. So I think that solves that. I am a sucker for puzzle games with narrative as opposed to just pure puzzle games. So I really do like the idea that this is a continuing story and that there's narrative tying together all these puzzles. And I'm also a sucker for these kind of legacy elements. And there is some of that here. Like we discovered a room, we looked in it, we saw a puzzle, but it's not used in this chapter, but we got to play with it a little bit. And you get some cards that you carry with you. That's pretty cool. I don't remember, I'm not sure I've ever seen that before in a puzzle game where you've got chapters, you encounter a puzzle in a chapter, but you can't solve it yet. And figuring out that you can't solve it yet is one of the puzzles. I mean, that kind of thing we've seen in the Deadbolt and we really like when you're not sure which piece goes together with which. That's happening here, but it's also happening because you're entering rooms that maybe you're going to need in a future chapter. That's pretty cool and very intriguing. It makes me want to keep playing. I'm also a sucker for a little bit of spatial context for these games. And the fact that we have this map that helps us navigate around, just the fact that we can visualize where we are, even though it's not really relevant for anything, it makes a difference for me that I can spatially place myself in a location. And it gives you a little foreshadowing. You're like, oh, maybe we're going to get a chance to go in here. Maybe that makes us think that we should think differently about a puzzle if we think there might be a specific room that would help us. So I really like that. I love the idea that these puzzles are each in their own little envelope and that each envelope has a visual picture of the door. It's all based on this idea that these are all locked doors. But this is a very clever, enjoyable little thing with these close-ups. Close-ups of the lock here. And then when you flip it over, you see inside the room. It's a very, like, this art so far hasn't been useful functionally. But it really does add some real flavor to the experience. Some theme and atmosphere. And then there's this other clever little mechanic where you've got these deck of replacement cards that, depending on your action, go and swap in to the main deck. That sort of can change the way the system works. And then there are a couple of promises that the game has made that we haven't encountered yet, which is we might make choices that have ramifications that could actually kill us that we have to back up. So I would say I like this system. In terms of a system of presenting puzzles, I really like this. The puzzles have been more involved, more sophisticated than I expected. I expected for a game with so many puzzles that we would have less quality puzzles, and maybe for the first chapter they would be super easy. They weren't super easy. We went through them pretty quickly, but only because we had some people in the channel who really helped. Otherwise, I would be stuck on them for a while. And I think maybe the last thing to say about this in the pro column, these are all basically pros, all good things to say about this. The other piece to say about this is just bang for your buck here. if this is currently on sale for $35 and you get 10 chapters, and we've just played one chapter for several hours, that's quite a bargain. Whether all the chapters are going to be so good, I can't say. And we haven't even opened the second box. Maybe there are going to be some surprises in there. But I would say as a puzzle game, this is quite a bit you're getting for your $35. And another thing that is worth saying is that in many ways, in terms of length, this is the best of all worlds, because I like long games. I like the idea of a game that's going to take 10 to 30 hours to play through. But that's hard to get a game like that to the table, hard to play on a game night. But they've done something very, very clever here. They've said, here is a 10 to 30 hour game, but it's very neatly broken into discrete chapters, each of which can be played in an hour or two. That's a really nice selling point. You've got the best of both worlds. You've got a very long, cohesive experience where stories tie together, but also everything broke into a session you can play in one sitting. I like it. I'm a fan. Okay. If no one else, does anyone else have anything they want to say about this game? Jonathan said, and I'll agree, I mean, the story's not super compelling. It feels a little bit of cartoonish. It's not a deep, highly motivated game. I like the narration and story and writing of Deadbolt better than this. This feels a little childish, a little amateurish compared to the Deadbolt writing. But that's all right, and it's only chapter 1. I would absolutely play more of this, though. Okay, so we're going to vote now about whether you want to... In fact, let me see if I can switch over to this different view now to try to solve this. Okay, so I've got a different view that lets me see what people type on the chat as they vote. Okay, so I want you to type vote continue if you want to continue playing now for another 3 hours. Only vote continue if you're going to be here. And vote stop. Type vote continue or vote stop. Vote stop if you want to stop for the evening. You could vote tomorrow if you want to continue playing tomorrow night. Game Brigade says, what if we watch for a little bit? You got to say vote. What you want to do. Vote continue, vote stop. This is my voting system as part of one of my OBS plugins. I'm only here for a bit. That's all right. It's not like what you do is binding. You can vote however you want. You could type vote spaghetti, whatever, it'll still show up on the list, and then we'll just decide later. So I made this new page so I could watch the comments coming in a little better. Okay, so we've got 2 votes for stop, Game Brigade and Jonathan. Now Game Brigade has vote to go tomorrow. I think it only may be Jonathan and Brian in here right now. I can see there's 5 concurrent viewers in my little thing. And 2 or 3 of those may be me. So we're probably going to stop here. Let me see if I can show you something. I'm curious if I added... let's take a look. Sounds like we're probably going to stop here, but let me just leave this open for another minute. Any other thoughts about the game? Then I want to show you a couple different views that I've added recently. Let's see. Jonathan, what's your schedule tomorrow? Do you have any interest in playing another chapter tomorrow? Don't feel compelled to join for these if you're, by all means. No one should ever feel like... I often wonder if like Jonathan feels pressure to join. Jonathan and I played a lot of games together years ago when this channel, I say years ago, but this channel's only been running for 2.5 years or 3 years. 2 years? 3 years? But Jonathan it was just me and Jonathan for many months playing Dune House Secrets and stuff like that. Game Brigade said, Jesse, are you staying with me at the Airbnb at Gen Con? No, I've got a hotel. I've got a king-size bed hotel due to the lottery with my group of 4 people. I'm going to be living like a king at the Hyatt. But Brian and I may meet up at Gen Con, that's for sure. It would be nice to get a photo or something and maybe play a game. All right, so we're going to close the vote now. We're going to stop. We're probably going to continue. Brian, I've seen how big you are. Brian's like 7 feet tall. That's dangerous. That's like sharing a bed with Nick Nolte. That's a dangerous situation. All right, let me just see something here. What if I clear this? What does this page look like? All right, let's take a look at this. This is something I just added for fun to my chat plugin. We can see during this session who spoke the most messages and how long ago they were seen. Nicola last seen 23 minutes ago. Matt last seen 2 hours ago. All right, not relevant. I don't want you guys to get obsessed with that. Then the other view I added just for fun is to show my OBS. I wonder if that would be interesting for you guys. Let me just open it up. Let's see, does this work? Okay, just for fun, this is what I see. You're now seeing what I see on the monitor in front of me. That's my OBS interface. On the right, that sidebar is a plugin I've written to help me track how long I'm on the air for each session and any missed frames, etc. You can see up top, I've got a little YouTube status where I can see if the stream has any problems. Okay, anyway, I just thought it might be interesting for you to see what I see. Okay, fun session. I will probably see those of you who want to play Chapter 2 tomorrow at 11 p.m. I can't quite guarantee it. It sort of depends on me having at least a little bit of sleep. Brian, you and I will talk about Gen Con at another session. I'll see you guys next time.